involved. And this afternoon, they met with somebody that I believe is from the Ministry of Labor or so on the matter.
Let's welcome the Honorable Ministers of Labour and Employment. Please. Good afternoon, the Honorable Minister of State of Labour and Employment.
All other distinguished ladies and gentlemen who are here representing the various interests that were invited to this meeting, I want to use the opportunity to warmly welcome you all to this meeting and to thank you for creating time to be with us at this very late hour. You are aware that the purpose of this meeting is to conciliate and see how we can negotiate a kind of peaceful settlement on the dispute that we have found out to be existing between our labor unions in the oil industry and the employers in Dangote group. And, I think it's not the first time we're having this kind of disputes, and we believe that by the time we sit down with the parties involved, we should be able to settle them, we should be able to resolve the issues within the limits of what is possible. And we believe that the gentlemen who are here today will assist us, and I can see the level of commitment in them to ensure that we resolve these issues. We want to appeal to all parties concerned in this meeting. Please try to.
So my own question is, if the purpose is to resolve the issue, is it that they will tell the NUPENG to ignore the quota system billionaire Dangote and let him do his thing? It's not like everybody else, so stay away. Or the settlement is that Dangote will let them unionize, because that's the bone of contention. For politicians, all talks, no action. You get what I mean? It is easier to create and redistribute wealth if those in charge are not so greedy, self-centered, and selfish, of course. Because the moment they place your need over their greed, things will work. For example, if you look at China, how they created the sort of country you see today, right? An example of that is that where you can put eggheads, those who are very good in research, scientific research, agricultural research, every research. You group them, you empower them with everything they need, and ensure that they replicate the same knowledge, right? Replicate the same, just across every section of the country. And within a decade or two, you would have a generation that is so different from the generation before them. For those you want to send into commerce, they actually have people from China billionaires, right? That at the end of the day will tell you that their wealth is linked to the CCP, that is the party in China. Because the idea was that if you create these entrepreneurs, right, there is a chance there that you are going to multiply the benefit of such investment. They will create jobs. The jobs they create, the people who get jobs will pay taxes. More money comes back to the government, less hassle on them of, oh, we have so many poor people. Why do you think the people are poor? When the country that should invest seriously in their education to shape their minds for whatever is going to be the goal of such country in the future, you invest in your own people from the cradle to grave. Or the criminals we have in that contraption, they have monopolized the resources of the land, the wealth of the land, and those who surrounds them are those who are picking the crumbs from their tables to continue to keep the rest of us behind the barricade, looking for any other droplet. That's not how to build a country. A country of poor people, but you have billionaires this, billionaires that. Fair enough for Dangote. He made use of the opportunity so well, being the quota system billionaire, the only guy that Nigeria will write a blank check for, the only guy in that contraption whose business has their own table at the central bank of the country, the only guy whose influence is so huge, right, that the government of the country changes the policies, their own policies, whether it is import or export, because of him. And behind that, you have a lot of people, right, whose source of wealth also comes from him. Maybe not a lot. I'm talking about their circle. So the rest of us are just left to imagine what it is like to spend $1 million on birthday, buy a new yacht, and that stuff. That is not how to run a country. A poor country like that contraption is made poor because the criminals who are leading you are poor-minded. They want to own the biggest palace in every country of the world. They want to fly the latest jets. And yet, ordinary hospitals, they couldn't build a cube to even care for them. Do you understand? So they are poor-minded, and poor-minded leadership will breed poor-minded followership. Unfortunately, Nigeria is a breeding ground for that. Yeah? So El-Rufai accused the Kaduna governor of paying money. He also accused Rebat Dumb of paying salaries to terrorists in their purported effort in reducing, crime. In the this past weekend, right, it's like an harvest of death. Okay, from Katsina to Kaduna, to all these places where over 104 people were confirmed killed by the terrorists. An operation that, you could say lasted for about 4 days. Harvest of death. But the Kaduna government, under Sani, have accused El-Rufai of politicizing the insecurity because Kaduna is better now than how El-Rufai left it. That is not really that true, right? Anyway, this was Sani yesterday. I think it was on what's that TV? Tifnumbu's TV.
I think I play with security, and I think people like you should ignore them. And I think they are just saying what they're saying. Most of them believe they are not sincere. They are only trying to play politics. But because if you want to come to Kaduna tomorrow. And of course, the people in Kaduna knows that our Kaduna model has nothing to do with paying bandits. We are not paying any ransom to anyone. It was a community-based initiative. It wasn't government. It was the Emir Benengwari, the religious leaders, the community leaders that came up with the idea. And as a governor, my most important responsibility is the protection of the lives and properties of our people. And I listen to them. We have not paid one person a dime, not one naira to anybody. So people that come to you talking about payment of ransom, they are only trying to misguide the public, misinform the public, score cheap political points. But in Kaduna, nobody has paid a naira. And let me even tell you now, when you came with that Kaduna model, a lot of people thought we are not going to succeed. But today it's a success story. And that is the reason why even your correspondent was in Benengwari only 2 days ago. And he interviewed the people of Benengwari. They made their own testimony. Nobody gave them one naira. And let me also draw your attention to one fact. The Emir Benengwari informed me when we started this Kaduna model that all the bandits around Benengwari, majority of them were born in his presence. Meaning they are not from anywhere, they are from that community. And I asked him, what happened? So he sat down with me and told me the symptoms of that crisis, the drivers of the insecurity. So we approach it holistically. But of course, I won't sit down here and behave like all those politicians that try to use politics, trying to achieve their political points using insecurity or security problems in our state. As a leader, when you are elected, you have to address the issue. You cannot sit down here and be blaming the president or blaming the national security advisor or blaming the military. As a leader, you must address the problem. That's why we're elected, to address this problem. As a government, police are executing the situation, as you're aware, as a state governor here. I have no power to choose who to be the state commissioner of police, or who to be the GOC, or who to be, or to choose who to be appointed in Kaduna as head of security. So for me, what I can say here is that, as someone who fought for rule of law, for justice, for democracy, a civil rights activist for many years, went to detention 5 times fighting for rule of law and democracy in Nigeria. I will never be part of it.
We are not poor in knowledge. We are not poor in human resources.
Okay.
We are not poor in capital resources.
Okay.
We are only poor in management and leadership.
Don't. You know. So, Mr. President, which means say now you be our problem. You and your people now they are our problem. The only poverty we are.
Call you agreed. You're not poor in knowledge. You're not poor in human and capital resources. You're just poor in leadership. Poor leadership. And poor followership too. That's you banker Sani. It debunked the impression that APC, Egbekebe, is not popular in Kaduna, or will be defeated, or that they were paying bandits, and the rest. Here is a reverend father that just returned from India, and he caught one of the latest statement from one of the sheikhs in the north that encouraged them to live with their killers and so on, talking about the killings in the middle belt of Nigeria. Listen to this.
My name is Ezekiel Gwede Dacho, Reverend Ezekiel Dacho. The truth is that I'm back from India. when I was in India, Yahya Jingir make a statement that they should stop arresting the Fulani terrorists, Fulani as a whole. So Fulani has a right. And one thing that I know with the security, they are all behind their clerics, especially the Muslims that are in Nigerian security. They are behind what their cleric has said. I came back and I discovered 27 people were killed. I have not even visited the graveyard. Today, to visit and also consult the people in Bindi, hosts Riom local government. I was in India, I was watching. Now that I'm in the executive council meeting of Church of Christ in Nation, since yesterday, you see my eyes, I was struggling with sleep. I don't know how to sleep. Since yesterday, they wanted to invent Nyarwe. Nyarwe is an area in Fan district under my jurisdiction. Every time they will call us to calm our youth, while their own youths are not being calm. They invaded my real biological village in Rim. Jolly was under attack. And look at us now, even in the village, they cannot sleep. If my people cannot sleep, how can I sleep? I have spoken, and God has broken the power of the sickness that was in me, so that he will keep me alive to come and speak on behalf of his people. My fellow brothers, United Kingdom, I'm begging you to Asoro. I'm begging you to Washington, D.C. White House. Bush should address Trump should address, please, his focus into Nigeria, because terrorism is taking over Nigeria. They are busy inviting people from Central Africa, Senegal, and other places to come and take over the country. If somebody will tell you that things are normal in this nation, Nigeria, it's a liar. And I can't keep quiet. If I was able to survive cancer in India, I will survive another cancer. That's the Fulani terrorists. I will survive it. Look at me now. I'm going to the village. I have to suspend the general. I thank my president. I say, I cannot. I'm just like a corpse here. My people are in pain since yesterday. They have destroyed crops. We don't know how to eat. In RCC Rock, what will I do? What sort of leader will I be leading? While another leader is busy igniting crisis, Sheikh Yahya Jingir, by failing to speak to his people to stop bringing crisis in the state. Now that I'm trying to ask for peace to reign, then I will become the enemy. Why should I make that statement? I'm not an Islamic cleric that I will bring insult. But let me tell you, we are going to do the work of Saul. Saul is to provide, is to preserve. The work of Saul is to make Nigeria grow. The work.
How many times would they tell you before you know that Nigeria is not for you? Ah! Now they never leave you. They have left you behind. Photo, not be juju be that.
So Reverend Father had to send out the message, like, to boost the morale of his people, while he is also calling for help. There is no help coming. Washington, D.C. much. Number 10, Downing Street, dealing with our own issue here, and Ukraine. And I don't know. So everybody would have to kind of like stand up for himself. I don't know how you're going to do it, because I can barely say. So I know it is actually not that straightforward, that simple. You just have to do something. Okay? Because the murderers, they are the people speaking for them. They are sponsor. They are on a mission. They are not hiding it. You complaining, right? Actually